What's going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Slam NBA DFS podcast and live stream recording here for Friday's 9-game main slate. James finishing off the work week here. 9 games. It's our highest slate in terms of game total so far this week, but it's been a pretty solid one overall. Another slate here that has some top guys, but it feels like outside of Jokic, who is questionable with an injury management designation for this slate. You have Steph Curry coming back, but he was limited in his return game there. This one could be a little bit more of a fair and balanced build. We got Halliburton already ruled out. Paul George has already been ruled out. We know Anthony Edwards is questionable. We know that Zach LaVine's probable to play. DeRozan, he missed last week. He is doubtful to play in this one. So, I mean, we're looking at the slate. I'm looking at the prices, kind of this first look here. And while there are obviously guys like Curry on the slate, after that, this feels like more of a fair and balanced lineup for 9 games.
Yeah, I mean, down the whole list, too, of top guys. Trae Young is coming back from an illness. SGA on a back-to-back. Randall has RJ Barrett back. We saw what he looked like with Barrett back. Sabonis in a potential blowout again. So, I agree. I feel like it's a fair and balanced look upon initial look as well. The game that stood out to me the most is the Warriors-Spurs game, opening at 241, or open at 240. It's currently at 241. So that is the game to me that has the most appeal. At the time of this recording, not a lot of totals out to us. 233 in Detroit, New Orleans is interesting. 229 in Indiana, Atlanta. Goes to show you that Atlanta is not a good team.
Hey.
They're only 3-point favorites against a Indiana team without Tyrese Halliburton.
Without Halliburton, right.
It just goes to show you a full-string team outside of Capella, and Capella is a big piece, but, that's...
And Miles Turner didn't play last game for the Pacers as well. His current status for this game, any injury destination for Turner, currently questionable. So, they might be without Halliburton and Turner in this game. It's a 3-point spread.
Sheesh, that's state of the Atlanta Hawks right now. But yeah, I mean, pretty interesting slate. Again, not a lot of totals out currently, but the ones that we do have pretty interesting, and I'm ready to get into it.
Yeah, all right. Point guard position here. 3 guards over 10K: Trae Young, SGA, and Steph Curry. Again, Curry came back. Looked like maybe he was going to be limited. Still played 31 minutes, so I guess that's a limit from his 39 minutes we usually see him play. Took 22 shots. I don't know if I want to pay 10-4. It's against the Spurs. It's a great matchup for him. But again, just coming back for Curry here. SGA on a back-to-back 10-2 against Chicago. Trae Young 10-1 against the Pacers. We mentioned no Halliburton. 34 minutes the last time he played a couple nights back. Missed the most recent game for Atlanta here. Do you find yourself wanting to pay up for any of these 3 guards?
Yeah, I mean, I think Curry is in an interesting spot. At 31 minutes and 22 shots after not playing basketball for a full month is interesting. They lost to a Phoenix Suns team that had no business winning a basketball game, and
a fully healthy Warriors team lost to Dwayne Washington and friends.
Dario Saric and Dwayne Washington. It's unbelievable, but. I think Curry's fine for tournaments. It's a great spot. Spurs still ranked dead last in defensive rating as a team, so I'd get there. SGA is an interesting matchup because the Bulls have been so bad defensively, and Trae is tournament play. I think they all profile best in tournaments. I think there's some pretty cheap guys that we're gonna like for cash.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go down the list here. 9 and 8K range. You have McCollum up to $9,400. He's been good with no Zion. Can't argue it. Detroit, great matchup for him. If you want to get McCollum in your lineup in tournaments, I certainly won't sit there and kind of argue with you. You have De'Aaron Fox running it back against Houston. He went for 42 fantasy points the other game against them. He's up to 9K again. I'm not going to sit there and tell you not to play De'Aaron Fox. KPJ already ruled out of this game for Houston, so it'll be an interesting rotation. Jalen Green maybe shifting to point guard. Eric Gordon, your general shooting guard here. We saw KJ Martin play 27 minutes after KPJ got ruled out the other night. So it'll be interesting to see exactly where Houston goes with their starting lineup in this game. Not that they've had time to plan for no Kevin Porter, but again, De'Aaron Fox here at 9K. Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett came back, no problem. 34 points against the Pacers in that game. He's got the Wizards here. Bradley Beal nearing a return. He was cleared to start basketball activity, and basically they said he'd be ready to go on a timetable to be determined here. So we'll see, what the status is for Washington. They were without Porzingis the other night as well, but this group here of Brunson, Fox, and McCollum for you.
Yeah, I mean, McCollum is a tremendous spot. Detroit's been very bad defensively. He's been awesome. No Ingram again. No Zion again. We said it earlier in the year. There was no way CJ McCollum was going to be that bad. I think he was asked, he had a pretty good answer. He was asked about the All-Star game and whether he thinks he should be an All-Star. And his response was, well, I'm paid like one. So I don't know. I don't know if he's taking it personally, but I think he's out there showing people like, yo, I don't know if y'all must have forgot type thing, but 26 plus actual points in 5 straight is 38-34. I like McCollum against Detroit. Fox is always a tournament play. Just obviously have to worry about a blowout. He's from Houston. I heard him talking the other night. If this game was in Houston, I might have a little more appeal. He was talking about how he gets up for those type of games in Houston. Probably not going to, other than tournaments, can't really trust it. And I think Brunson is just, I've been saying it like every show we do, like he's underpaid. Like he's playing 40 minutes. He's been amazing in every facet of the game. So, 8,400 seemingly you would be like, oh, too expensive. No, it's not for how he's producing right now.
Another price drop on D'Angelo Russell here, now down to $7,200. Keeps giving you a 30, 35 fantasy points in that range. No Chris Paul again. I don't think I've played D'Angelo Russell once this season, but if Anthony Edwards finds himself out, Anthony Edwards was ruled out of the other day's game and then found himself re-entering in the fourth quarter and almost like covered the slate for those who managed to play him, scoring like 16 points in the fourth quarter there. So Edwards obviously looked good, but we'll see obviously the status here. At last check, Josh Giddey was having a pretty good game against Philadelphia here tonight. I don't know where he's currently sitting at in that one, but he's down to 7K up against Chicago, filling the stat sheet. We keep talking Trey Jones here. Keldon Johnson returned. Devin Vassell, though, still out. Trey Jones against Memphis goes for 47 fantasy points in that game. So we're looking at Trey Jones now 35, 33, 33, 47 the last 4. He's only $6,200 here going up against Golden State. And Golden State, as we've talked about, they haven't really been that good of a team this year, So they have all the players, but they're not really winning those games you expect them to win. So, San Antonio at home may be a spot for Trey Jones to keep it going.
Yeah, man. I think that's why, I think that this game is the best game environment on the board. And you're right. We've been talking Trey Jones a lot, and I don't think he's ever really going to get extended past the 30, 32 minutes. Like that's kind of clear, even in a game where he's maybe playing the best he's played all year. He doesn't. He plays 30 minutes regardless. Right. No foul trouble, no nothing. 30 minutes. So it's great to see the shot attempts, 15 plus in 5 straight. It's great to see the points, 18 plus in 4 straight. We know the assists are going to be there. He's a good rebounding guard. I have no problem getting to Trey Jones in this game environment. Golden State 21st in defensive rating this year. So to your point, they're not a good team. They're also first in pace. So this is a tremendous, tremendous spot for the Spurs. And, Spurs are 9th in pace too. There's a reason why this total is 241.
Right. Orlando here gets at Utah. Markelle Fultz has been playing some really good basketball. 37 minutes against Portland there.
Love it.
18 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, 32 fantasy points. He gave you that 43-point ceiling against Golden State in a game that they won 115-101. He's popped for 47 a few times this year, so there's definitely a ceiling here. Markelle Fultz, as we've talked about now for a few years, just kind of revitalized in Orlando. This is looking much like a player that should have been a lottery pick, that the Sixers drafted. Maybe not playing like the number 1 overall pick, but a guy that's certainly good enough to be starting in the NBA. Gotta love him at 61. And then Killian Hayes, Dud game against Philly, bounces right back against Minnesota like we expected he would. 38 fantasy points for him. Jaden Ivey, Mike Conley, some really good guys here in this 6K and below range.
Yeah, I'm very happy for Fultz, and we continuously say it's like he has been revitalized in Utah. Orlando looks a little better, like day by day, and they're only going to get better when their best player in the NBA comes back, Jonathan Isaac. So things are looking.
Listen, did we ever find out what he did in that G League start? Do we get the box score now?
No, but I'll pull it. I'll get something pulled up shortly for Jonathan Isaac. But yeah, love Fultz here.
It was yesterday. He's expected to appear in 2 games, so he's 2 games away from a potential return. Well, 1 game now. We're recording here for Friday's slate, so he played on Wednesday's affiliate game, so he's potentially a game or so away from returning to the NBA floor.
Holy cow, we're literally going to see him back so soon. It's crazy.
It's close, so close.
Killian Hayes, we said it, like he make shots and then we get 40 fantasy point upside, and we want to say shy of a double. Jaden Ivey, very high, very high usage rate, and a pretty good spot. So I wonder what the rostership on Jaden Ivey is going to be coming off 40 minutes, coming off his best game in so long.
40 minutes off of a back-to-back too. So.
Yeah. And that's something that we've been kind of worried about. We've talked about back-to-backs before being like the kind of...
Well, there was just that weird game with Detroit where they literally rested all their guys.
Yeah, played like 20. Yeah, he played like 20 minutes. Yeah. That's true.
So I like Ivy there for sure. Jalen Williams at 5K. He's having himself a pretty good night. I know we now mentioned 3 Thunder at point guard, but the eligibility is the eligibility. Jalen Williams also has small forward eligibility there. He's been playing a really good game. Dwayne Washington up to 5K. Is that a little bit too rich for your blood here?
Yeah.
It is a good matchup, though. Minnesota's so bad, but...
Look, so I think it's interesting. They signed Saban Lee.
Okay.
The well-traveled Saban Lee. And he actually played a bunch of minutes. So, in the Denver game.
Yeah.
So, like, Dwayne Washington is going to play... And we said it on the last podcast, right? No matter what. He's going to play 24, 25, 26 minutes. Like, that is what he's going to play. They're not going to extend him if he's shooting well. They're not really going to not play him if he's shooting poorly because they just don't have the able bodies. I am interested the more, reps Saban Lee gets if he not overthrows Washington, but there's more of a split while everyone's out. So just something to consider. I don't think Washington is like very viable at 5K personally. Yeah. But if you want to be contrarian, so be it.
Okay. Any other guys down here that you're looking at point guard?
Alec Burks, is GPP guy, but the minutes have decreased. Jose Alvarado minutes could anywhere from low 20s.
I guess Nembhard, right? No Halliburton.
Nembhard for sure. McConnell looked really good the other day. 38 fantasy points. He had 14, 7, and 8. That's the cash play that I would get to. Nembhard or McConnell.
Yeah, 34 minutes for Nembhard in that game. 20 fantasy points. He had 5 fouls, and then whoever starts, I guess. Right? We know McConnell's always been a guy that's been pretty appealing from a fantasy perspective. So
I think they both start because Nembhard's been starting. So Nembhard's been starting alongside.
Would they go Neesmith then?
Neesmith's been starting. They've been starting 4 guards.
Okay.
Essentially, they benched Jalen Smith, and they've been starting Neesmith at power forward. So they've been playing Hield, Neesmith, Nembhard, and Halliburton. So I think they just start McConnell, Nembhard. I don't know if Neesmith has an injury designation because he missed the last game.
Right.
Questionable. But I think Nembhard starts and I think McConnell starts. I think we see them both. And I like them both. And I'll throw Kobe White as the GPP play in that mix if DeRozan, who's listed doubtful, doesn't play.
Is this maybe an indicator of what to come? Jayshawn Tate has point guard eligibility.
What are we doing?
Is this a DraftKings insider info here? Jayshawn Tate.
What are we doing, dude?
Point guard eligibility.
He could start, but it's not going to be a point guard. He's not there. He's not going to be starting at point guard.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so either. All right, anybody else here for you?
I said the Kobe White piece, but that's the only other player.
Okay. Yeah. Trey Man's point guard, shooting guard. There's no Paul George already, so maybe Trey Man at 4,300 against.
Yeah, that's a good one. Trey Man, Terrence
Man. Sorry, Trey Man could play if they bench SGA. Never know.
Yes,
it's a back-to-back. Anything's possible. Let's see here. Shooting guard, Levine's probable. He's up to $9,200. DeRozan is doubtful. Levine went for 51. So quick bump in price for Zach Levine, up to $9,200 here. Great matchup though against OKC. So I'd be okay. I'd be fine playing $9,200 Levine. How about you?
I'd be OKC.
Yep. I see what you did there. Clay at 77. He was the only one really making shots for Golden State.
If there's a spot, this is a spot. I don't know if we can get there with Steph back, but it's a great spot. You could also play Jalen Green for $100 cheaper.
Yep.
Probably starts a point guard.
Yep, can. Jalen Green's probably in a better spot with no KPJ. Clarkson's always in a pretty decent spot. He's coming 46 fantasy points against Cleveland. Just really, Sexton is expected back in this game, by the way. I don't know who that impacts, but expected to return to the lineup for Utah here.
I assume. They started Beasley last game.
Yeah.
So
I played Buddy Hield against the Atlanta the last time they played. He was 3% rostered. He went for 45 fantasy points.
He's going to have a lot of opportunity here. A lot of it. He's going to have a lot of opportunity here.
Yeah.
Also, got word on Jonathan Isaac, John?
Yes, what do we do?
15 minutes.
Okay.
He scored 15 points.
So he's ready. He's ready to go.
And he graded himself incomplete.
Okay.
So there was no brace on the leg. He also had 5 rebounds. So
of course he did. Did he have any blocks and steals? Like 2 and 3 probably, right?
I'm just looking at an article. I don't have the but he missed a dunk, had a couple dunks as well. So he's all the way back.
He's gonna come back and be an MVP. We know that.
We know that.
That's what we're looking at. All right, more guys in the mid tier down here.
No steals, one block.
Okay.
1 assist as well.
Okay.
6 for 12 shots in 15 minutes.
Love
so
it.
He was out there chucking.
Dude, guys out there to chuck. Absolutely lovely. Bogdan 6K, but Bogdan 6K, but kind of maybe hard to get there with everybody healthy.
Yeah.
No George. Norm played 31 minutes in back-to-back games.
Yep, love Norm.
Right.
Yeah. Love the minutes because we weren't getting that earlier in the year.
Right. Matherin, dude. Guy bounced back from a bad night. 20 actual again. So 21, 19, 19, 4, 20 his last 4 games. So, and we played him against Portland. We played him in one of these matchups here, and he did really well. So, we talked about his free throws. Getting to the line a ton.
He is a freak getting to the line for a rookie. That
and only 5 of 9 from the free throw line last game, which is unlike him. For a guy that's shooting 81% from the line this season to go just 5 of 9, could have had a bigger day there against the Knicks.
He leads the team looking at usage rates and stuff. He leads the team in usage rate increase with Tyrese Haliburton off the floor 5%. So elite bump. To your point of using him here, love that.
Yeah, dude, Matherin's gonna be a pretty good play. You're on the playbook for Friday, so
true.
We'll getting a good look here on where maybe some of your thought processes are here. Richardson played 23 minutes, gave you 25 fantasy points. Our guy Diallo's at 4K still, gave you 26 fantasy points in 26 minutes.
And they already did their. I think they already. No, they ruled Duran out, but that helps Diallo because if Stewart doesn't play, it helps him even more because that shifts Sadiq to power forward,
right?
And we'll get exclusively Hamidou Diallo extra run at the 2, at the 3, yeah.
Diallo's probably gonna be borderline core. They started Dyson Daniels against Boston, 25 minutes in that game.
They did. It's fine. Trey Murphy went for 32 fantasy points. but I know Daniels is a lot cheaper, so he's fine. He's fine.
Was Hoarder out or did he play that game?
Hoarder sat last game.
Okay, because Monk and Davis just split 20 minutes each in that game. So
yeah, they split. Yeah,
Davis started, but
Davis started.
They didn't really do much.
I mean, it was a blowout. True. They blew him out, and Trey Lyles played a bunch of minutes.
Yeah, Lyles had 20 points in 20 minutes.
So it was like a bad indication. They gave PJ Dozier back, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Davion played his normal allotment. They played like KZ Okpala, Fency's favorite player. Like they spread the minutes out.
All right. Any other shooting guards for you?
I mean, if Edwards sits, I know Jalen Noel's minutes are down, but like maybe Jalen Noel.
Okay. Do we have a Kyle Anderson designation yet?
I think he's questionable. I think I saw him and
Diallo or Prince rather are both questionable.
Yeah. Anderson, Edwards, and Prince are all questionable.
It'll be interesting to see there. They finally fixed the Kawhi price tag. Is $9,900. Goes from 87 to 99 because he went for 60 fantasy points against Dallas. Still probably too cheap. I mean, no Paul George, right? Like Kawhi is back to being Kawhi. 38, 36 minutes. Yeah, I'd pay $9,900 for Kawhi Leonard. He's still probably a 10-5 player, right? Like he's probably worth $600 more. So, I don't know if Laurie's worth 98, but he's playing like it. So, like,
we talk about this. We talk about it every slate, right? Or we talked about it last slate. We were like, holy cow, 97, and then he goes for 50. Yeah. The problem is, like, I feel like it's very rare. He has to have that perfect night where he's either scoring 49 or he's getting 25 and 16 because he doesn't really do anything else.
Yeah.
No assists, barely any blocks, barely any steals.
Yeah, his it was actually kind of funny. The other day, his point prop on PrizePicks was 26.5. His points plus assists prop was 26.5. So people were like, "Oh, it's a mistake line. It's a mistake line. His points prop is the same as his points plus assists." And people were like, "Not really,
he doesn't get assists,
but like sort of, I guess, because he's averaging almost 2 assists a game." But like, anybody who took that just got murdered because he finished with 25 points and 1 assist. So,
really.
If nobody's in for Washington, Kuzma's $8,700. He did not do well in that game. 21 actual, but that was just about it. 30 fantasy points in 38 minutes against Chicago. I don't know. I don't know if I would run that back or not. I like Banchero, I think, a little better at 83.
Yeah, there were a lot of people mad on the Twitter sphere. I mean, like, I don't know, man. I get it, but like, no Porzingis. No, we saw a triple double out of him to start the new year in the same scenario without Beal, and I don't know. Like I'd probably go there. I do also agree though. Banchero's been awesome.
Yeah.
So like I agree that I prefer Banchero, but I think if Kuzma is someone that's low owned, I would give him.
Okay. Good bounce back spot here for I just had him there. Who was that? Bridges, 66 against Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Struggled last game out, but much easier matchup for him. Keldon played 35 minutes. He came back from the hamstring, just immediately went out there and did what Keldon does. So
yep, and he was bad shooting too, and he still got there because he made all his free throws.
Mm-hmm. Love Bogdan. What do I tell you every podcast that we do? But Bojan is too cheap. He's $6,200. He goes for 46 fantasy points. Just keep playing the guy. Just keep going out there playing Bojan. He's worth it. He's their leading scorer. Like there's no Cade. Like, I don't know. I don't see why. I mean, the price is up a little bit, but he's probably like a 68 to 75 play and not a 6 to 64. So
yeah, I think he is closer to like a 7K player. So I think there's still some good leverage to be had. I think for me, he's more of a tournament play just because it's it's not a bad cash play. Like if you look at his floor, it's very solid, but there are like very boom and busty things, or not boom. There's just a lot of boom and then meh, right? It's like 46, 28, 48, 28, The scoring is always there. It's if the peripheral stats are there.
Oh, that's why I
that's
like
when
him.
you get
Yeah,
the
I think he's a good floor play. Najee Marshall's been unreal though, and he gets Detroit in that matchup. So for cheaper, you go play Najee. 34 fantasy points, 41, 39, 29, 34, the last 4 for him. So
Yeah,
get him while he's under 6K still.
Yep, and Herb questionable, so the minutes could potentially be just so secure there.
Yeah, right. Herbert Jones got ruled out the other day. Harrison Barnes kind of let people down last game because he just had 22 fantasy points, just 16 points. But, I think you could probably go back there against Houston with him.
Yeah, White Bread Harry is fine.
Yep. You love DeAndre Hunter. Keep
Yep.
No problem going back to the well with him. Bunch of minutes, giving you the points you need. Let's see. I mean, dude, if Denny had 20 rebounds, does he get 20 rebounds again versus the Knicks?
I mean, I'm not going to predict 20 rebounds, but, he's in play.
It's a lot
he's
of
rebounds. It's a lot of rebounds. He's not going to get 20, but, if there's no Gafford questionable, Porzingis questionable, if these guys are sitting, he's going to start, and he's going to be attacking the glass with Kuzma. So,
I do like Kyle Anderson if he's active. So
agreed. And Jalen McDaniels if he's not.
Yep. Sadiq Bey at $4,800.
It's what do we do with this guy?
I mean, if he's starting, you have to play him, right? The shots are there. So
I mean, he's gonna start.
I think what I like the most is the free throws. 17 free throws last 2 games.
My assumption is he starts regardless of Stewart's status because Jalen Duran's already out, right? So they just start Stewart at center or Nerlens, depending on who's active, and then Bey at power forward. So yeah, I assume he's starting.
I like Bey here a lot. I was love that he's getting to the free throw line. Know what you're good at, right? Get to the line. So yeah. Anthony Lamb had a good game. It wasn't Lamb. Was it Lamb? No, it wasn't Lamb. Somebody else. Who's the guy on Washington that comes off their bench?
Kispert?
No.
Anthony Gill.
Gill. Yeah, Gill had the good game. But he didn't start. But he had 18 actual in 23 minutes there. So
yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe the lowest floor of all time. But
Eric Gordon, 3,900.
Sure, Gordon, KJ Martin, both in the same range. I think both are probably both price start. Or Jayshawn Tate 36. All 3 of these Houston guys, pick your poison.
Yeah, whoever starts probably.
Gordon will start, and then probably one of the other 2 start, either between Martin and
probably Garrison Matthews, just to throw a wrench in everything.
Probably True.
If a lot of guys are ruled out for Denver here, Vlatka Kankar could be a spot for us here. Had 36 fantasy points against the Clippers a couple of games back, but
I mean he's good. That was also the game that the Clippers benched their starters at half. True. They were down by 55 at half. So, there's that.
Yeah, anything's possible. Power forward here. Randall 10-3. Barrett came back, 41 fantasy points. 16 boards, though. But he wasn't taking 26, 22, and 29 shots. He took 12. So,
yeah.
A little tough. We talked Porzingis and Leonard already. Kuzma, Banchero, John Collins at 6,800.
I think it's a little too expensive for me. It's a good spot, but with Trey back, I don't know.
I mean, we were playing Collins with all those guys in, but it was just maybe better spots.
Yeah, he was also if you look back, he was also under 6K. Now we're approaching 7K. I think Draymond is in a good spot against
Gordon
Spurs.
If Jokic sits.
Aaron Gordon would be a really good play. I just think there's better plays.
Sure.
Can't get to Wiggins yet. Maybe if he's gonna play over 30 minutes here, maybe.
Kind of annoyed Hachimura only played 20 minutes with no Zinger and Gafford. I don't get. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense, but
yeah, they hate this guy.
Yeah. Let's see. Jabari's 28. Marcus Morris, I guess, at 47. Go there.
Yeah.
Over 30 minutes.
No Paul George. Pretty low floor, but you can get there. Torrey Craig, same thing. Yeah. Could have a very low floor.
23 minutes in that game, but hit all of his shots.
And then the game prior doesn't make a single one, but he had 36 fantasy points.
Right.
Ayton was upgraded to questionable.
Okay.
So we got to keep that in mind. Obviously, if he plays, that's Torrey Craig's going to play a bunch of minutes regardless because he's just in the rotation. Ayton being back would help hurt Sarge, I think.
Yeah. Keegan Murray played a bunch of minutes the other day.
Yep. Keegan Murray's fine.
Sarge is obviously still starting, but I guess wait on Ayton, like you mentioned. We'll see where that goes. Jalen Smith started in place of Miles Turner, played 25 minutes in that game.
That was a weird because Neesmith also missed. Brissett also missed.
Yeah.
And then I think they started James Johnson at center.
Yeah, they did start James Johnson.
Or power forward, whatever position he was playing. So I definitely like Jalen Smith for tournaments. If I like him regardless. Yep. If Neesmith sits, if he's starting, I like that a lot.
Any other power forwards here for you?
I don't think so. Like if you want to predict the blowout, Trey Lyles. If you want to play that game, you can play Josh Okogie if you think blowout there. If Phoenix doesn't get anyone back, like he's played 24, 34 minutes the last 2 games.
Sure.
But that's it.
Okay. Center position here, Joker, of course, at 11-6 against the Clippers would be a really good spot. I think we just had this. So he's only averaging 28 minutes in 2 games because of blowouts. 42 fantasy points. He played 24 minutes and had 34 fantasy points against them last week.
That was the
game they sat all the starters. Yeah. Yep. And he had 50 fantasy points in 32 minutes in the first game back in November. 19, 13, and 6. And they won that game by 10. So
I'm not really worried about it if he plays.
Vucevic with no DeRozan against OKC.
Yeah, it's really good spot.
That's a good spot. I agree with you there. Ayton gets Minnesota if he's in. I don't hate it. Şengün against Sacramento. We just saw this one. He had a triple-double, 10, 10, and 10.
He's around. I mean,
probably unlikely to go 10, 10, and 10 again.
Probably unlikely, but that was Kevin Porter left after the first quarter, so we already know there's no Kevin Porter.
Sure. Wendell Carter, 65, played really well the other day. Double 20, 10, double-double. Nance is back, so I guess we're getting cut into Valanciunas minutes here.
Yeah.
Pirtle's been good.
Pirtle has been good. And then another member of this game. This game environment is just awesome.
Yeah, we've talked a lot of Golden State, San Antonio. So Mitch Robb played 38 minutes, had 36 fantasy points, 5 steals, and 2 blocks in that game.
And you just can't predict that portion of things, but he randomly does pop like that.
Gonku's fine in the middle there.
Our boy Kessler got 30 minutes last game.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say Walker Kessler down at 5K. Olynyk's going to be out for a little bit, so, I mean, there's definitely room for him to get in there. We know how foul-happy Vanderbilt can get, so.
He had 6 blocks 2 games ago, Kessler. He had a double-double with 6 blocks. He's had 2 straight games, 11 rebounds or more.
Okay. I always mention Looney out there. This game's not all competitive. I mean, he had 8 rebounds in 21 minutes, so it's a big. He grabs the boards.
Why he played 20 minutes? Who knows? But yeah, It's annoying because he should be playing more. He's just not.
Zach Collins played 22 minutes and he played 38 fantasy points in that game.
Yeah, he went nuts. Yeah, I mean he's a very good fantasy producer. So, if Pirtle gets in any foul trouble, I mean, shit, Collins might be in foul trouble with Pirtle, even in limited time. But Collins doesn't need a lot of time to fill it up.
Yep, I agree with you. Any other centers here?
We didn't mention Isaiah Stewart, but obviously if Isaiah Stewart plays, he's an elite play, I think. If he doesn't play, I maybe go back to the well with Nerlens.
Yeah.
Like, again,
the
it's
blocks
hard.
and steals have been elite, right? So the minutes suck, but the blocks and steals have been good. He's also been part of 2 blowouts, so if we got a competitive game, maybe he plays more. I mean,
maybe, yeah. And that's kind of what I'm thinking too. So maybe there. Jalen Williams, center for OKC, the second Jalen Williams they drafted. I think if he starts again, maybe.
Sure. We
just know there's foul trouble. They started the Wizards started dusty old Taj Gibson, 25 minutes, 27 fantasy points. Also a revenge game here for against the Knicks too, against his old buddy Tom Thibodeau, who loves Taj Gibson. So, yeah, I mean, if everyone's out, that's why Hachimura didn't play. Taj Gibson.
Right.
Go
All
figure.
Right. Let's build our lineup. What are we building around? Do we need to go up?
I'm looking. I don't know.
Kawhi. Do we go Kawhi here at power forward?
Yeah, we both said it. Let's just play Kawhi. Okay. That was the first name that came out of both of our mouths. So.
Okay, Kawhi at power forward. All right. So, our guard situation. We want Nembhard probably, right?
I want to probably both Indiana guys. McConnell.
There's a lot. Well, so the thing is, there's a lot of Indiana guys I want to play. I want to play Mathurin. I like Heald.
So McConnell, slightly better usage rate, slightly better fantasy point per minute output. They're both like McConnell's at 1.01, Nembhard's at 0.96. McConnell's at 17% usage rate, Nembhard's at 16% usage rate. So like all close. All very close.
Okay, well, McConnell and they're $200 difference between the two.
There's no difference. I don't care if we want to play Nembhard. That's fine with me.
Let's go Nembhard for now, and if we have to move down, at least he's cheaper, not more expensive. So, shooting guard $9,200. I want to go Vucevic. I think at center here over Levine. Do you agree or disagree?
I mean, it's a awesome spot against OKC.
I know. So he's just cheaper, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fine.
Vuk at center. Shooting guard here.
Jaden Ivey, 54. Yeah. Or Sadiq, we could play small forward.
Ivy's good. Yeah, Ivy's fine there. There he is.
Buddy Heald.
Yeah, small forward.
Heald or Mathurin.
Yeah, we got Ivy at shooting. We can play multiple of these guys here. I'm just kind of moving down. So Nembhard, Ivy, small forward. Could be Heald here. You said Bay as well though. I kind of like the Bay play. Bay is small forward only. Okay, so we'll go Nembhard, Ivy, Bay, Leonard, Vucevic. We have a guard forward utility, $5,700 a play.
Guard forward utility, 5,700.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, like all the Phoenix guys back in play.
How many
right?
Detroit guys we want to play? Diallo's at 4K.
I know. KJ Martin or Eric Gordon for forward.
Yeah, let's go Gordon. Let's go Gordon probably first. I feel like that one less likely. Why is he a small forward? Of course, it's not a guard.
Yeah, he's always been. Yeah, they just keep him at small forward.
6,600 guard and utility play.
6,600 guard utility.
Mm-hmm. Go Fultz against Utah?
Yeah.
And then 71 util. Şengün,
Keldon. We don't have a lot of Spurs Warriors. I hate that.
True, we liked that game. We played now. Let's play Keldon. All right. Nembhard, Ivy, Bay, Leonard, Vucevic, Fultz, Gordon, and Keldon is the play. At least for now. Again, recording here Thursday evening for Friday's slate. As news updates will be in the Discord to be there for all of you guys here. James and I will be back for Monday's podcast and live stream. Good luck, everybody. We'll talk to you all later.